Hello everyone, welcome into Watch Me Wednesday, episode number 64. This is now week number 4 of our Island Breeze Quilt Along. And I have to say that I really am enjoying seeing your flying geese in the quilting group. And some of you have laid out your blocks and they're looking fabulous. Hey Teresa, hi Kristen. Hey Kristen, I hope you're feeling better today. I've been thinking about you. If you haven't seen some of the layouts, go take a look in the group. Some people have actually, my friend Lisa actually finished her quilt because she's been snowed in back in the east. So I'm sorry to all my friends back in the east who are getting hit with this terrible, terrible cold weather and snow, but I have to say it is something that I do not miss at all. I'm enjoying our sunny warm weather. I hope that I can at least give you a little bit of that sunny warm weather here today in the video, kind of get that to you. I'm willing it to go to you. Anyway, we are going to get started. Today we're going to talk about the flying geese that you completed. So I want to show you, I completed all of my flying geese. They all look, I think, pretty good. They're all trimmed down. I finished trimming them up and I have stacks of 6 different geese because that is what the pattern calls for. So for those of you who are just joining in, definitely share this. Oh good, you're above freezing today. That's good, Lisa, I'm glad. For those of you who are just joining us, we're on week 4 of the quilt along for the Island Breeze quilt. If you don't have the pattern, you can get it at any time and you can jump back to week 1 and start along with the quilt along. The version that I'm doing with the fabrics that I have is Laurel Burch's Sea Goddess fabrics, which are not in shops now. They're shipping February. Somewhere in February, so keep your eye out at your favorite shop. These fabrics will be in and you will be able to create an Island Breeze just like I am creating with this fabric, which is really cool. If you're a Laurel Burch fan, which I am, which is fabulous. You will have in the quilt group, again, you will have a PDF. After I do the video, I will be uploading the new PDF for your homework for next week. So that'll be real important for you to go ahead and grab that. Today I'm going to show you how to join the block together and how to join the geese and then the block. And I'm going to give you some tips and techniques that you could use to carry over into just a regular piecing for other quilts as well. So I just want to show you, I did one ahead of time to show you. Here's the flying geese. And if you look at mine, you can see here, right there, where I have not lopped off that point of the geese. So we want to make sure that those geese keep their points. So I'm going to show you some tricks on doing that, and then I'm going to show you how to join the block, how to get your big block together, okay? So I'm going to point the camera down so you can see my layout. And then I'm going to show you what to do with your geese and then what to do with your block, okay? So, pardon me while I stick my hand in front. Hit the share button so other people can join in. All right, here we go. So, this is what my block currently looks like. The pieces are not joined together yet, so you can see they're not joined. I have my geese in place, so I have 4 of the big squares cut out and in place, and then I have 8 geese. So I have 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and my quarter square or hourglass block in the center. But the first thing we need to do before we do anything is we need to join each pair of geese, okay? And in doing that, I use a specific technique, and I think it'll make it easier for you guys if you don't do it this way. And this is going to help you to make sure that you don't lop off that point on the geese. So when I do the pairing, and you can chain piece it if you like, which is fine. When I do the pairing, you can do one of two things. You can pin at each end. So I'm going to show you here. These are my favorite pins, and yes, I do sell them on my website. They're long, and they're super, super fine, super, super thin. And it allows you to put your pin in, and then, let's see if I can get it so you can't, my hand's not in the way. It allows you to put your pin in and then weave it in so that your edge is nice and straight, okay? And it goes through your fabric like butter. And they are super sharp. Yes, they will pinch you or poke you and draw blood if you happen to get it in your finger. So see what I'm doing? I'm just putting it in this way like that. Now, if you're on the fast and you don't want to pin, that's fine. You can see that this matches evenly at both ends because they're cut the same width, okay? And we also need it to match here at the top, which is super important. You can put another pin in if you like. I don't. And actually, when I sewed this one together, I didn't use any pins. So whatever's your fancy, whatever suits your fancy, go ahead and do it. So I'm going to show you what I do to get that perfect point. So I'm going to move the camera over here to the sewing machine because I want you to get a good peek at what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep this goose up at the top because what I want to see is that little crosshair. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. You want your needle to come straight through that crosshair or just a little bit above it. If you come below it, you're going to lop off the tip of that goose. So we want to sew with this one up. And I'm going to sew with my needle down position, and I have my 1/4 inch foot in. And remember, we use a 50 weight thread, and we have our machine set to 2.0. Okay, so that's for our stitch length. Now, I have it set in needle down right now, and I don't, people always ask, don't you backstitch? And no, I don't backstitch. In garment sewing, yes, but not in quilting because we're always going to have crossing lines. So it is in needle down, and with my machine, it has this little sensor foot, so when the needle is down, the foot comes up, and you can pivot around. So I'm not going to sew over the pin because I don't want to do that. That's not great for your machine. So we're going to go ahead and sew down the length of the goose. And if you have to readjust, this is why you have needle down. If you have to readjust this edge to get it nice and even, do so. You're putting all this time and effort into this quilt. You should definitely want it to look nice. Now I'm coming towards that point now. Let's see if I can show you better. So here's the point where I'm coming to, and I want to make that needle come either straight through that point or just slightly above it. So if I have to make an ever minor adjustment, and you can use a purple thing if you want, just to kind of hold it in place if you need to, or a stiletto, that's fine. Either way, doesn't matter. And then you're going to just come all the way to the end. And then if you're chain piecing, put your next one in, your next one, your next one. I'm going to go ahead and clip that. And I'm actually such a big thread trimmer. I've told you this before. I don't like all these little threads hanging out here, the little ones. So I clip them all off. If they're in my way, it just bugs me. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you here. I'm going to press. Now, the pressing on this is super important. This is the side that I had up when I was sewing, but I want to press it towards this geese, or goose, should I say, because there are no seams here. I don't want to press it towards this one because there's bulk here. There is a seam there, and I don't want to press it. It won't lay flat. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my iron, and I'm going to just lay it on there, press that seam, and then I'm going to press it open or press it towards that top goose, okay? So I want to show you here how that came out. You can see how nice and pointy that came out. This is the spot where I really like to do this. I like to give it a shot. I use Mary Ellen's Best Press, and I just give it a fine mist on that seam, okay? And all I'm going to do is this. Don't move your iron back and forth on it like this, because then what you'll do is you'll stretch it. You just want to pick it up and place it down. Pick it up and place it down. And that will make that seam nice and crisp. And you will have a beautiful block that will sew in super nicely to the other blocks. Okay, so now I'm going to just back this up slightly. So now we have a row that we can put together. But I want to talk a little bit about, you really need to, I'm not going to, just for time purposes, you really need to finish your other geese. Then you're going to go ahead and join rows. So think of this as a small quilt, and you're going to join block to block to block, block to block to block, block to block to block. But there is a specific way we're going to be pressing these. So you're going to want to know how to do that. So I'm going to show you how to join these together. So I'm going to join the blank block. I call it blank block because it's not pieced, okay? I want to sew one to one side and one to the other, okay? And these, you can actually go ahead and pin if you want to match up the ends. So you're going to put a pin in here, same way. You can do this, or you don't have to do this. And then you're going to put a pin in here to match it up. Match up the end, and again, you're weaving that pin in. I'm hoping that you all can see. I'll show how I'm weaving that in. I'll put it in closer. I weave it in. That helps the block from skewing. So can you see how I wove that block in? Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back over to the machine, and I'm going to show you how I'm sewing that. Okay, so these, once they're sewn in there, the geese are sewn in, they are the same size as those blocks, so they'll sew in super nice. And again, I have it at, that needle down. I keep it in that needle down position because I want that needle down. I want to be able to adjust this edge if I need to, okay? So I'm just doing a 1/4 inch, and be really precise even on the edges here for the geese, because you don't want those little edges or the points of the edges to get lopped off either, okay? So we'll come into the end of this, and I'm going to slide that pin out before I get to the end. Clip it, and I'm going to go ahead and clip my threads again. I hope you're all seeing this okay. Now pressing. This is important for these, okay? So this row, I should say, this row of the block, we want to press it towards these blank blocks because there are no seams there. Do not press them towards your geese. So you're just going to go ahead and give it a press with the iron, and then open it, press it towards that blank block, okay? Then you can go ahead and take your next block or square, and you're going to do the same thing. And I'm not going to pin this one this time just for sake of time, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew that square to the geese at a 1/4 inch, and we want to make sure that, again, our edges are nice and even, okay? And that's why I have that needle down again, and I'm coming through kind of at that point. You can't really see it because the seam is covering it, and then you're stitching at that 1/4 inch all the way down. I hope my fingers are not in the way. Let me use my purple thing. Okay, so I'm going to clip, and then I'm going to trim those little threads because I don't like them. Then I'm going to bring it over here again, and we are going to press this again, but we're going to press it. Now, in a lot of quilts, you usually press one row one way, one row the other. But in this block, we're pressing towards the square, okay? So we're going to go ahead and press this, set that seam. I'm going to press it here. Now, if you want to, again, here's the time where you can give it a little mist of Mary Ellen's Best Press and just set it on there. It'll give it a nice crisp finish, which I love. I love that. It's so nice and fresh and crisp, and it actually helps you in your sewing. Give it another spritz on that seam, and it's just a light little spritz. Nothing, you don't want to saturate it. And again, don't press the iron back and forth on it. You don't want to do this. You just want to kind of set it there and get it nice and crisp. So now I'm going to back the camera up because I want you to see this whole block again. So now we have a row together, okay? This is really important, so pay attention to this. So we have our block together, and of course you're going to have these geese together, and you're going to sew them to the hourglass block. Now, when you press this row, instead of pressing it outwards towards the geese, press it inwards towards your hourglass block. That way, when you join this row to this row, these seams here will nest with this row, and it will make it easier to sew, and it will lay nice and flat. Then when you do this last row is done the same way as this row here. You're going to have the geese join together, and then you are going to press them towards the blue squares, okay? And then this will go ahead and nest easy with this middle row. So this row gets pressed in towards the hourglass, and these two rows get pressed outwards towards the blue blocks. Once you have that done, then you can go ahead and join the 3 rows, pinning at each intersection of the seams so that they're nice, and then pinning at the ends, and then you will have a completed block. That will be one block. You have to make, I believe it is 13. Let me just, I want to verify that for you. I think it's 13 blocks you have to create. Yep, you're going to create 13 whole blocks, okay? So that's super duper important. So let me put the camera back up towards me, and we can go over a few other little things. So here I am. I'm sorry I'm a little crooked because it's moving the camera back and forth. Anyway, so you'll go ahead and so what you're basically going to do is you're going to go ahead and join those geese all together, lay out your blocks. And what I like to do is I do like to chain piece, but I will stack all my quarter square. So I'll stack the 13 hourglass or quarter square blocks all in one, and I'll stack up my geese and my other square blocks around it. So then I have all my 13 blocks stacked up, and just take a pile and just start chain piecing. It's way more efficient that way, and you'll get them done a lot quicker. The sooner you will know, have it done. Actually, boy, am I stuttering. You'll have them done so quickly, you won't even know how it got done so quickly. It's just more efficient that way. So lay them out, lay out all your blocks, do your geese, and then go ahead and start chain piecing. So the PDF for this week's Quilt Along will be in the quilt group so that you can go ahead and snag that to see what you have to do for next week. Next week we're going to talk about the half blocks and the quarter blocks for the corners. So we're going to show you what you need to do for those next week. And I know a lot of you will jump ahead, and that's fine. If you want to jump ahead, you feel pretty confident, you can do that. But we are going to have that will be the next week. And then I'm going to talk about, after that, we're going to be kind of putting the whole quilt together. So have fun doing these 13 blocks. Get all those geese together first, and then join your blocks and post them in the Quilt Along group, because I would love to see how yours are all turning out. And I know that everybody else wants to see them. There's some really cool versions out there. So definitely don't forget to post those. Love to see them. In the meantime, you guys have a fantastic weekend. And, oh, just another thing I just wanted to tell you. I don't know if any of you know, but since I moved here to Arizona, I've kind of been working out like a fiend, and I've been I took up running as a hobby, believe it or not, and I've been running for almost a year now with a group of my friends, and we've been doing a lot of 5Ks. I ran a 5K last weekend. This weekend I have another one coming up, so cheer me on. I'm hoping to get a personal record this weekend on Sunday. I run the race is called the She Power 5K, so yay, go she, right? So wish me luck, and I will see you next Wednesday. And in the meantime, I can't wait to see all of your blocks that you are completing. And we will be back next Wednesday with some more tips and techniques on how to get this whole quilt together. Love you all. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.